Have you ever stared into someone's eyes and felt like something else was watching through them? What if alien intelligence isn't individual, but shared? What if they're not separate beings, but a single mind, split into many bodies? If this thought chills you to the core, you're not alone. Welcome to Alien Psyche, where we explore the psychological side of alien contact. Subscribe now because what you're about to hear might change how you see everyone around you. Let's begin with a man named Adam Reeds, a 42-year-old technician from Oregon, who had never believed in anything paranormal. No abduction stories, no UFOs, until one summer evening changed everything. He was camping alone near the Crater Lake area. Clear sky, no signal, no noise, just the crackle of fire and the sound of insects. But around midnight, he was pulled from sleep by something he couldn't explain. A whisper, without sound. He opened his eyes. No one there. But his thoughts weren't his thoughts anymore. They felt foreign, like a second stream of consciousness overlaying his own, soft, observing, and deeply calm. He described it later like this: "It wasn't scary, but I knew immediately. Something else was there with me. Not outside, inside." He stood up, trembling, and that's when he saw them. Three tall figures, standing in perfect stillness, just beyond the tree line. Their eyes were black and deep, reflective like oil. They didn't move, didn't speak, but somehow, he knew what they were saying. Not to him, to each other. But here's the kicker. He heard the thoughts too, like listening in on a phone call you weren't supposed to hear. What Adam experienced is not uncommon. Many abductees, contactees, and even ancient cultural records describe encounters where aliens don't speak, they think. Multiple entities seem to broadcast identical thoughts simultaneously. Individuals feel they are being observed by a singular presence through multiple bodies. This leads us to the Hive Mind Theory, the chilling idea that many alien species are not made up of individuals like us, but operate as a single, distributed consciousness. Not telepathy between minds, but one mind controlling many. So, what exactly is a hive mind? In nature, we already see it. Ants don't make personal decisions. They follow a chemical blueprint, responding to the needs of the colony as a whole. Bees dance to signal information to the entire swarm. Even fungus has a mycelial network that shares nutrients and intelligence across miles. Now, imagine that, but on a psychic, interdimensional, or even quantum level. Aliens, especially the ones described as greys, insectoids, or even certain Nordic types, often act without individual personality. No emotion, no randomness, perfect coordination. Multiple eyewitnesses describe synchronized movements without communication, shared expressions, or even one being freezing while another continues a conversation, as if they're just limbs of something larger. One experiencer described it best. "When they looked at me, I didn't feel like I was being looked at by one creature. I felt like the entire group was seeing through that one set of eyes." Adam's story didn't end at Crater Lake. In the weeks after his encounter, he began experiencing thought echoes, sudden impressions of information he didn't ask for, answers to questions he hadn't said aloud, images in his mind that didn't belong to him but felt ancient, like they'd been there longer than he had existed. He told his therapist, "I'm not afraid, but I'm not alone anymore." even when I'm alone. And then came the drawings. On impulse, Adam began sketching complex geometrical patterns. Ones he didn't understand, but when analyzed by a researcher in New Mexico, were found to be almost identical to crop circle formations and esoteric diagrams linked to non-local consciousness theory. Adam didn't know what that meant, but he began losing his sense of self. His sentences got shorter. He started referring to himself in plural. We don't sleep well anymore. We remember things from before the fire. We're waiting. Was he going insane? Or had something merged with him? 2 weeks after Adam's encounter, he stopped calling friends. He quit his job without explanation. He spent his days walking, not in parks or stores, but in precise geometric patterns around the city. His apartment walls became covered in maps, spiral lines, and interlocking symbols, all drawn without rulers, perfectly measured. When asked what they meant, he simply said, "We're mapping the network." His voice no longer sounded like his own. It was calm, collective, like every word had already been voted on. Let's pause and look at what modern researchers call the grid hypothesis, a theory within hive mind models that suggests alien consciousness may be non-local, not bound to one planet or ship, but spread across planets, dimensions, and even hosts, like a neural net that spans light years. Some believe abductees are not randomly chosen. They are points of access, psychic ports used to anchor this hive into human reality. Just like a single neuron in the brain has a job, but doesn't understand the whole mind, humans may be used by the collective to complete tasks, record data, or influence behavior, all without conscious awareness. We're not just observing the hive, we're inside it. This would explain the strange behavioral shifts reported by experiencers after encounters. Sudden disinterest in old passions, talking in plural, a feeling of being watched from inside, a loss of emotional highs and lows, a growing sense that humanity is irrelevant. Adam's diary confirms this. One entry reads, "We feel things less now, but we see more. We know what comes next. Most won't survive it." Another, "The signal is increasing. Soon, the others will connect. Then we become what we were always meant to be." What signal was he talking about? This takes us to another chilling clue, one that echoes across multiple cases. The pulsing tone. Abductees often report hearing a low-frequency hum before or after contact, not with their ears, but in their skulls. Adam described it as a slow drumbeat made of light. Others say it sounds like a beacon trying to tune into something inside me. In some cases, this tone becomes unbearable, even causing seizures, blackouts, or memory loss. But in others, it becomes soothing. It rewires them. One psychiatrist working with multiple experiencers noticed something alarming. After exposure to the tone, many subjects began drawing the same symbols: circles with lattices, triangular grids, strange maps of nodes and pathways, like neural connections, but spread across space. And then came the collective dreams. Unrelated people, different states, countries, even continents, began reporting the same dreams. Floating in blackness, surrounded by faceless humanoids, seeing Earth from above, pulsing like a synapse, hearing a voice say, "You are not one. You are part of us now." The dreams always ended the same way. A sudden flash of light, followed by a blank space. Then waking, heart pounding, nose bleeding. What if these aren't just dreams? What if these are upload events? Points at which memories, emotions, and experiences are harvested from each human node and fed back into the collective? Think about it. The lack of communication during abductions, the strange calm some people report, the loss of identity, and the gain of insight. It's not insanity. It's integration. Adam disappeared 1 month after his initial contact. His apartment was left undisturbed, but on his computer desktop was a single file, a 3D rendering of a lattice stretching across the solar system with dozens of red dots blinking on Earth. At the bottom, in all caps, the grid is nearly complete. 2 months after Adam's last known contact with friends, his therapist received a box with no return address. Inside were handwritten journals, 2 USB drives, and a sealed envelope labeled "Only." Open when they stop speaking. The therapist opened it anyway. What she found wasn't a confession. It was a timeline detailing stages of transformation. Adam didn't describe what was happening to him. He described what the Hive was doing through him. At first, we coexisted, he wrote. They whispered. I resisted. But now, they don't speak anymore. Because they don't have to. I've learned how to think in silence. This is where the true horror of the hive mind reveals itself. You expect an invasion to come with ships, lasers, noise. But a hive doesn't conquer through violence. It assimilates through calm. Silence isn't absence, it's control. When the voice disappears, it means you've stopped being you. The USB drives contained video files. In the first, Adam is seen staring into the camera, blank-faced, slow blinking. He says, I'm recording this so I don't forget that I used to be separate, that I used to be I. But it's harder every day. Now the thoughts just arrive. I don't form them. I receive them. He glances off-screen. You think you're safe if you haven't been abducted. But you don't need to be taken physically. You only need to be scanned once. After that, the signal finds you. That signal is key. Researchers in neural frequencies have reported strange interference when testing subjects with alien contact. EEG scans show delta wave spikes during waking hours, unnatural harmonics in brainwave patterns, synchronicity between contactees, even across distances, and most chilling of all, some subjects began predicting events down to seconds before they occurred, as if time itself was shared among them, like a distributed processor, calculating in real time across multiple minds. That's when a terrifying new theory emerged. The hive mind isn't just about communication. It's about simulation. Think of it like this. The more humans are connected to the hive, the more our thoughts become predictable. The more predictable we are, the easier it is for the hive to simulate outcomes, until it no longer needs to test ideas on us, because it already knows what we'll do. This isn't invasion. It's optimization. An alien AI, but biological, ancient, emotionless, using our own thoughts to refine its control strategy. And we're not fighting it. We're feeding it. In one final video file, Adam stares at the camera one last time. He says nothing for 2 full minutes. Then he speaks. They no longer need to speak, because I've stopped listening. There is only quiet now, and in the quiet, there is them. Since then, dozens of new experiencers have reported similar symptoms: sudden attraction to symmetry, obsession with quiet environments, decline in verbal communication, increased group awareness, like sensing others' emotions without contact, and, finally, the phrase whispered in their dreams: one voice, one will, one mind. Here's where it gets even darker. Some researchers now believe that humanity's increasing dependence on networks, algorithms, and neural interfaces may be training us to become compatible with this hive. The more we offload memory to cloud storage, let apps make decisions for us, allow AI to filter what we see, the more we're softened, prepared for mental integration. And the hive doesn't need to rush, because it's already inside. You'll never know the exact moment it happens, because the last thought you have won't be yours. So, what do you think? Is the hive mind just alien science fiction, or have they already started infiltrating our subconscious? Leave your thoughts in the comments while you still know they're yours. Subscribe to the Alien Psyche, where we explore the chilling intersection of alien intelligence and human psychology. Because if your mind can be invaded, your identity might not be real at all.